All right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, doing well, doing well. So welcome to Nightbreed. Whereabouts in the world are we talking to you from?
UK, a county called Derbyshire,
Hmm.
so pretty much central, above Nottingham, below Sheffield, in England.
Oh, there you go. Nice. What's the metal scene like there? Is there any kind of like local gigs going on, or do you kind of have to track out elsewhere to check out bands?
Um, I mean, it's a pretty good position that where I live. It's pretty close to cities, so Derby, Nottingham, Sheffield, Manchester, Birmingham. They're all kind of sub-hour, just over an hour distance. So there's plenty of stuff really. As far as really local goes, then maybe not so much, but that's that's. I don't know. I think there. It's certainly not Scandinavia, put it that way. You know, it's kind of
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Ah, cool. So obviously you've got your new album, new project come out, though, Listless Heart. But if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind doing a couple of questions earlier about your previous music, and then we'll get into the new stuff. Yeah.
yeah, no problem.
Cool. So Seventh Angel, you guys started back in '87, is that right?
Yeah, I think so. From what I
Yeah.
recall.
What do you remember about the beginning? Like how'd you guys get together?
um, well, I think Ian Arkley was sort of the guy that created the band. He when I met him, they'd already done an early demo, and I met him just not particularly wanting to. I didn't know about Seventh Angel, and I wasn't wanting to join a band. I didn't play an instrument,
Mhm.
but we met. I got on well with Ian, and he said, "Do you play?" I said, "No." He said, "Do you want to?" I said, "Well, yeah, wouldn't mind." So he threw a bass at me and said, "Right, the first gig's in 6 weeks. Learn," and that was it, really. So yeah, it was a baptism of fire, and that's how I met Ian, and we've been mates ever since, really.
Hmm.
And he does some vocals on the new album as well, so that's cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
we I think he was probably the reason that I kind of went down this path. He's like very influential musically on me, I suppose. He was a ball breaker in the early days. If you didn't practice enough, he'd really give you a bollocking, you know. But he's chilled out a bit now. He's older than like time itself, really, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's good to have someone on your back to get it done. That's all right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, 2009, The Dust of Years, 2017, the demo collection. Is there any more Seventh Angel in the future?
Maybe. I mean, we've not disbanded, put it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Possibly. It depends. I mean, I don't think it will ever be a gigging band again. But you know,
Okay.
if we find that we have the energy and motivation to do another album, and it feels, I mean, at the end of the day, it's always been about enjoyment for us, really. It's not about, you know, breaking into a scene, etc., etc. We're too old and ugly for worrying about stuff like that. So if it's something that we enjoy and we find the time to do, then maybe. So it's not a no, but it's not a definite yes either. We'll see.
Yeah, no worries. And then of course, you've got My Silent Wake. So 2005 that kicked off, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was a late sort of comer to My Silent Wake, so obviously I knew Ian, and I probably, I don't know how many years ago now it wasn't that many years ago that I sort of just sent him a message and said I fancy doing some music, and he said, "Well, why don't you join My Silent Wake?" I said, "Well, you've already got two guitarists." He said, "Well, you know, how about some keys? You know, they're always nice to have a bit of keys." So I said, "Yeah, well, why not? You know, what's the harm in trying to learn another instrument?" So yeah, I bought a keyboard and just added a few extra touches, and it seemed to work, especially because we've done metal albums, but we've also done sort of more ambient acoustic albums, which having the keys and sort of samples and stuff helps a lot with. So yeah, that's been enjoyable and another learning curve for me, really. So you know, it kind of keeps your brain active, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think
Um,
Ian's written Ian's written material for another heavy album, so that's all sort of sat ready and waiting. It's just a matter of getting everybody together, practicing, learning the parts, and then. But I'm guessing we'll get booked into a studio sometime next year and get that recorded. So
yeah,
that's the plan.
Beautiful. So with the other two projects on sort of, on the go, what made you decide to begin your solo project by Listless Heart?
It's something I've always wanted to do. I always felt like I had it in me to do something. I wanted to do something that was for me. Being in bands is great. It's a great experience, great camaraderie, but there's always compromise.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have a go at doing something to, I suppose, partly to prove to myself that I could do it, partly to do something that was fairly selfish as far as this is what I want and nobody's going to tell me otherwise. Partly because I was when I decided to do it, I was fast approaching 50, and I thought, well, kind of maybe it's now or never. I do these kind of things. So yeah, bucket list, part experiment, part proving to myself that I could, and part that kind of. There's always that sort of thing within, I suppose, lots of musicians that you just want to do something to create, and it was kind of eating away at me, and I thought, well, and COVID struck obviously, which made time. Maybe a little bit more manageable, lockdowns, etc. I continued to work through lockdowns, but it was a reduced, amount of work, a reduced responsibility, and therefore it gave me more time to focus on doing that. So yeah, it was a combination of lots of things. A midlife crisis, maybe.
That's not a bad thing. That is what comes out of it. That's good. So just as a tech question, what interface are you using? What gear are you sort of recording with?
Well, I bought a Mac because I'm not a tech guy really, and part of the process was very, do it, make mistakes, learn, do it, make mistakes, learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a real basic setup. It's an Audient. What is it? Audient ID 1.4 interface.
Right. Yeah, I'm just looking at mine. So yeah, I've got an Audient.
Oh, I've lost you. Hang on.
Yeah. Oh, hello. Yeah, we were talking about recording and stuff. And then you got Greg Chandler producing. Hey, how'd you get together with Greg?
Well, we did the 2009 Seventh Angel album.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Okay. That was with Greg in his studio, and Greg's done the last couple of my Silent Wake albums as well, the heavy ones anyway. So I knew Greg, and he was just the obvious choice, really. I mean, we get on well. I like the way he works. There's nothing that he doesn't know about heavy music. He doesn't live his studio isn't so far away. It's about an hour away, just under an hour. So yeah, I contacted him and said, if he'd be willing to. I told him what I was doing and said, like, I'd like to come to the studio, reamp all the guitars, mix and master. So yeah, we got it booked in. And then he was also, he's been really helpful. He was kind enough to do guest vocals on a couple of tracks as well. And he also helped me with kind of putting a bio together and who, sort of advised about what labels to contact as well. So yeah, he was spot. He's a great bloke.
Oh, nice one. That's cool. So what are some of the themes on Pilgrims on the Path of No Return, like lyrical themes?
Well, I'm a miserable son, so I'm not actually. I'm quite a positive person, but I like music. I tend to go towards topics that are emotive and I suppose melancholy. So there's The Precipice, which was the first single. That's about suicide. I suppose the backstory to that is that I worked with, for the last 30 years in my actual job, work with people who have fairly significant mental health issues. So supporting those people to deal with whatever trauma they've experienced children and adults. I'm also a foster carer, and I've adopted 3 boys as well with my wife. So we kind of see it on a daily basis, the kind of trauma, mental health issues, the struggle to get through. So I suppose that's the backstory to that. Plus, my best friend from school took his own life as well. So there's that. Yearning, which is the second single, which came out yesterday. That's actually, I don't know whether there's many songs like this in the metal scene, but it's actually about losing somebody to dementia. The idea that, the idea is that you grow old together, don't you? And you, if anything, know each other better and better. And this thought that you're losing somebody in front of you, they no longer recognize who you are, and that sort of sadness that would bring. So yeah, lots of sad subjects. Confessions is another song on the album. That's a little bit different. That's kind of got I don't get angry, generally speaking, but that's kind of as close as I get. That's more about the idea of empire, colonialism, how people with the power tend to bleed culture and resources from countries. It's an age-old thing. It's something that Britain was very good at. And so it's an observation on that, really. And, kind of humanity's greed and the need to trample on the little people, So, yeah, kind of all sorts of stuff, really. The overarching theme for me, because, I don't know whether you know, but Seventh Angel and, back in the day was sort of tagged a Christian sort of band. Mm-hmm. And so part of the underlying theme of the entire album really is my journey walking away from that belief system, walking away from faith. So you'll notice that there are certain things, people reading the lyrics will probably pick up on that kind of thing. And the final song, The Search for Meaning, is, I suppose, linked to that as well. This journey that we're on, and my conscious decision to walk away from, faith. Not in a bitter sense, but just, kind of, it was just kind of my story, really. I wanted the album to be as authentic and honest. I suppose it, kind of a solo project, it enables you to do something that truly encapsulates who you are as a person, So I suppose this is me stripped bare, I suppose, warts and all.
Mm-hmm. I saw the video for the first single. It's like nice and grim and moody, black and white. How'd that come together? Who worked on that one?
That was me and my trusty iPhone.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it comes out pretty slick, mate. Like, it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah. iPhone and iMovie, which is like free software on the Mac. So Becky, who's in the video, old family friend, and she's also had her own issues with mental health, struggles. So, and she's into this kind of music. So, I kind of said, "Would you fancy taking a trip out into the Derbyshire Hills and trying to do a video?" So yeah, we just went out for 5 or 6 hours, took a load of shots, and then I came back and edited it together. And I was really pleased with how it came out. Considering my technical improficiency.
So it's not that bad, mate. That's good. So yeah, I guess outside of that, Thy Listless Heart, what have you been listening to at the moment?
I'm obsessed. I'm kind of obsessively the kind of person that obsessively looks for new music all the time. So much so that I struggle if I find something I like, I'll listen to it a couple of times and then I'm like, I need to find something else. But I suppose one album that sort of struck me this year is, have you heard of, I don't know, I can never pronounce this correctly, Erd or Ard, A-R-D.
Okay.
Have you heard Winter Philith, black metal band from the UK, who are also in Derbyshire. Their keyboard player, Mark Deeks, he did a solo album. So that's a great album.
Cool.
All sorts. I love kind of all sorts of doom, really. Shape of Despair, the new Darkest Era album is fantastic. But I also like kind of, you know, old school metal, really. I think I went through a period of listening to a lot of stuff which was just very, very exact and precise, and I'm kind of trying to listen to stuff that's a bit more rough and ready. I don't know. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I kind of often, before I hear what's good in music, I'll hear what I consider to be imperfections, which is a real problem for me. So I'm trying to retrain my ears to actually appreciate music for what it is, rather than, you know, well, that's kind of, you know, not quite sounding as I thought it should do, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm always on the lookout for new music. I'm trying to train myself to also appreciate black metal a bit more. But I don't know. I just like slow music, you know. I mean, I don't know whether it's my age. I mean, obviously Seventh Angel used to be a thrash band, but there was always a doomy, slower element to it. But I find anything that's beyond about 100 BPM these days, I'm just like, just chill, slow down.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool. So obviously the album's out 18th of November. Links are below. What's next? What's next for you, Simon? Are you working? Is this going to be an ongoing project? Will there be more Listless Heart albums in the future?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Once you get that bug. I mean, this is blown up to beyond what I thought it would be. My intention was to record the songs. When I was in the studio with Greg, he was like, "What's your plan for this?" And I'm like, "Well, I haven't got a plan." It was literally like, write the songs, try to record it. Hopefully they turn out good. That's it. Like, so the fact that Hammerheart picked it up, which has been fantastic, is beyond what I'd ever hoped for it. So because of, you know, it's obviously very early days, but people have responded really well to it so far. So, you know, don't tell my wife, but I probably will end up doing another one.
Yeah. You got to do something, mate. It's good, you know. Yeah, cool. All right, look, Simon, thanks for your time, and yeah, everyone check it out. Thanks, man. Look forward to the next one. Yeah,
appreciate it. About the technical issues.
No stress, mate. All good. All right, have a good one, mate. See ya.